With the last video, I talked about the third crystal. And the reason that I brought it up is because I need to say something. I'm not sure that Ra was an okay interpreter of human design. It is my suspicion that in fact, he wanted to give his kids something that they could make money from. But it is very clear to me that that program that he developed with us was quite different from his later iteration of Jovian design. The reason that I really wanted to bring up that he might in fact be a very bad guy, meaning that the word I would use for him maybe is evil. I don't think he liked people, and making this kind of cosmic joke on all these believers was maybe his objective, that he could make money from it, but no one would figure out how to use human design. Bettina's attitude toward Ra was he always would teach something and leave one piece out so that you would have to take another class to figure it out. And I think that is kind of accurate. What I have observed, not so closely, just in the last few years, was that Ra came up with something that would sell. It's easy to say what your type is, and he skipped a whole lot of what he taught us at first, which was how to use the ephemeris and what the planetary program, how it could condition you. So we had many things that we found, kind of basic human design that are now gone from his education. Anyway, who knows? But I think, in fact, if he was somebody who didn't receive the system and was just gleeful to get the benefit from owning, as he used to tell us, the only privately held esoteric system in the world. And so it could be that our goal with him, when I told him in the beginning of 99 that the education that we developed with him didn't work, people couldn't use the charts. Well, they could a little, but not effectively enough. And so, just to go back with what happened to me, I wanted to prove that human design could be used for the good and not just as a way of justifying bad behavior. So the first thing I needed to do was apologize to people who I had followed Ra's advice and kind of insulted or told them no or whatever. In other words, I really made myself into somebody people were glad to get rid of. And so, yeah, that happens. Anyway, I wanted to say, as my start of proving that human design could be used for the good, that what I needed to do was get rid of Ra's Ching, his interpretation, whatever he didn't understand, the chakras. It is obvious to me that he was teaching the synthesis when we first met him. And then when I effectively eliminated that education program, I was assuming I would be all right. I didn't assume that he could really so effectively destroy me. So going on with what happened to me is it took me years and years before I would use the word curse. And I finally said, that was like a curse that he did. What happened? So this story is that I got a letter from Eleanor Haspel Portner. Ra left and he went first to Sedona, and that's where I heard the first time that Ra said, oh, Zeno was not good to the kids. She is stealing my children's inheritance. And so that was Suzanne Bayless reporting to me in Sedona, via the phone, of course. So this was February 99 or March 99 something. Anyway, Rob was on his way ultimately to California to hang out with Eleanor. And so Eleanor had written me a letter that I got in May 99, right before I was to go to my daughter's graduation. And really, I was meeting my sister and brother-in-law. So the three of us went to Northampton, Massachusetts to do this graduation ceremony. And really, I got this letter from Eleanor and then cried the whole frigging weekend. I was just devastated. And so I cried and cried and cried. And Eleanor kind of was informing me that Ra was telling people, oh, don't worry about Zeno. It's my copyright. You can use it. Of course, it wasn't his copyright. We had recorded it, and I paid Ra royalties. As I said a couple of videos ago, that this was what the slander was. I did pay back the lender who loaned Ra the money to pay for the tax and the credit card and so on. But that he did that so begrudgingly, I didn't follow up at all. I thought, hey, pretty good. He's kind of okay. And so, anyway, Eleanor informed me that now people could just disregard me and they could do what they wanted with his recordings. And Putty Putta, Mary Ann Vinegar, transcribed some of our audio. And so anyway, Eleanor was updating me about that, and really I was trashed. I mean, it was terrible. So after 3 months, I finally got ready to reply to her. Thank you for letting me know. It's hard when Ra tells me something and tells you something different. So anyway, I did a long fax to Eleanor, and so I sent that to her. I was taking a long time to recover from the letter she wrote me, but I finally was okay to just say thank you. And within minutes, we are talking minutes, Ra called and said, "Don't you dare say I speak with a forked tongue." And that was the shock. He shocked me like nothing. I mean, he cursed me in that way. I already updated and said, okay, I lost my vision in the right eye, optic neuritis, and I was traumatized by this, but most especially because I felt so betrayed by Eleanor. That was hurting me to the quick. It's like I needed her to just accept my thanks, and she didn't. She used that letter to elevate herself in Ra's eyes. And, everybody at that time wanted to get rid of me and get me out of the way of their direct contact with Ra, Eleanor not being any exception. Anyway, the other thing that happened to me at that time was I knew I was getting replaced by Patti Patti Marianne and by Eleanor and other people. He contacted all the clients who had maybe enough money and were generous to him, so which I couldn't afford him. But anyway, Eleanor